The following is intended only for mature audiences. Always consult legal and medical professionals when needed. Viewer discretion is advised.
From a an energetic standpoint, anything physical in the body that sets up as an illness stems from an energetic perspective to begin with. So how are these things impacting our chakras? How is it internalizing?
I guess we'll call it the awakening time where they're more aware. Oh my gosh, I can tell my dog, my cat's acting funny, or I'm feeling like I'm being watched. Mm-hmm. And they're more aware than they are most of the time. I mean, it's like...
Right? A lot of them, for me, I had a little girl come to me. I was at church, and that was the first really...
And all of a sudden, within a couple of days' time, somebody's either lost their job or somebody's car broke down. You know, these are the accidental sides of manifesting.
Stories happen to people, and they take it on themselves. They take it on their shoulders. They take it on their heart. And, a lot of this stuff challenges them in their beliefs about themselves, about it limits who they can be.
I like to look at their charts before I do healing session with them. And if we can get their chart, we can really pinpoint, a lot of these are past life things coming forward.
What it is we have a conversation with that spirit and we let them know why we're there. We also...
but as far as the negative aspects, it can really lower your mood and, it can completely depress you. And I've seen that with a lot of people.
Because it was a shock for me, I expanded my knowledge and I stepped into energy healing, and then I went into shamanism. So in working with my guides...
Welcome back to another edition of Terra Turas, running just only slightly behind while we had a little bit of technical difficulty on my end, getting everything set up for the evening. This evening we are doing a live reading with Meredith, and we're going to bring her on here in just a minute, but joining us this evening for our Terra Turas side is Mr. Malcolm Spears.
Hello.
Myself, Michael, and then the lady with the really big cup, Heather Lynn.
Hey! Sorry, I was unprepared. Hey guys, how's it going?
Now this evening we are going to be speaking with Meredith. Meredith, how are you this evening?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Everybody's like waiting. I'm doing good. Everything is running.
People. I'm good.
Yeah. All good here.
Yep, as long as everything runs right, I'm happy with that. So we'll leave it at that for the evening. What we're going to do, Meredith, if you will, is as we go along, turn around and have you ask those questions, and then we'll kind of go round robin as we go along.
Okay.
And each of us will kind of add a little bit more, a little bit of information, whatever comes across to us. So what I will do is, if you will, go ahead and tell us what is your first question, and then we'll kind of start with Malcolm and work our way around.
Okay. I guess my first question is, do you see me relocating to somewhere warm within the next 12 to 18 months?
Absolutely, yes. I think you need to really put your intention behind it. And it's, yes, southwest is what I see. So I don't know if it's Arizona, Nevada, California, somewhere down in that area. I'm not getting a specific hit, but I think that could be a lot of fun for you. And
okay.
Heather, I'll let you go next.
As soon as you asked that question, I got a big, huge yes, and I saw a little arrow go. I'm really feeling Nevada, but definitely the area that Malcolm just mentioned. It feels really good and refreshing for you to make this move and to put more belief in yourself.
Okay.
And I'm going to put right in behind all of that. I also got the point where we're saying, yes, absolutely, this is something that's going to happen. It is ironic moving there is something that is going to be able to facilitate other things that you have going on in your life. It's almost as if being able to move helps jumpstart more of where you might have been years ago, both in work, in being an entrepreneur, and getting other things done. So it's a physical move for a lot of very good, right reasons, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Fantastic. If you would, tell me what your second question is.
Okay, my second question, since the answer was yes, piggybacks on that question. Do you think that my parents will be living on the same property as my family, my husband and my kids?
Malcolm?
I get no.
Okay.
I think you need to keep some independence. And I think because you're somebody that needs a lot of time for yourself, quietness, and you need to be able to retreat. And I suspect your family already knows this, but no, I see them. They can be in the vicinity, but I don't see them on the same property.
Okay.
Heather?
Yeah, I just kind of see big X's over the area, and it just doesn't feel right. You need that to really ground yourself and to stand on your own 2 feet, and to, again, I could just keep feeling, hearing the word believe, like to really believe in yourself, to have that confidence, to set the intention to move forward.
Okay.
I'm much the same way. The minute that you ask that, I'm sitting here shaking my head going, no, that's not going to happen. I don't believe that they will be living very far from you in that regard or that aspect, but I don't get a sense that they're going to be like elbow length away. That's...
Okay.
It is a nice thought that you have. It is a wonderful thing to be able to say, we're going to take care of as we go along. But it strikes me that not only do they need their own place, like Malcolm says, you need your freedom, your own space, but they need their own place because it needs, politely, their energy needs to be contained in their home, their residence, their property, and not continuously spilling over into yours. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
It is one of those things, and I believe that we would all probably say the same thing. Freedom is a wonderful thing. Energetically, it's a mismatched thought or idea. It sounds great. It is a wonderful thing that you want to take care of, but there's that huge, overwhelming, yeah. Love the thought, love the idea, but no.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then do you see this being beneficial for my children?
I'm going to ask so that we all know, and I've got to grab a piece of paper as I do so. What are your children's names and how old are they?
Okay, so I have Anthony, and he is 17. I have Adriana, and she is 16. I have Curtis, and he is 13. And then I have Callan with a C, and he is 7.
Malcolm, I'm going to go ahead and let you go first on that.
Are you looking to live in the country, or are you looking to live in, I see you like on the far suburbs, on the fringe of country, but I think if you're close enough to a city, I think the kids will be okay with it. They need the access. They're not in the retreat mode, because I think for you, the further out in nature, the better, but they need access. They need, city life. And but overall, I think it's going to be beneficial for all of them.
Okay.
Do you have sometimes have issues with Adriana particularly?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay.
Oh,
So, it doesn't really matter where you are, the attitude will come along with it. So she will smooth out, by the way.
Thank you.
But that's really the person out of your crew there that I can see it being a bit of a hassle.
Yeah, you are absolutely 1,000% correct.
Okay, I wanted to ask you something. Are you a counselor?
I was before my husband got injured and now needs like full-time care from me, but I was in school to get my bachelor's for counseling.
Is there any way that you can continue that at a distance?
That's one of my plans after we settle, is to do that.
You have a gift here for both counseling and also with young people. So I think you could be quite effective. And now there's starting to be counseling companies and groups that are either online, Facebook, FaceTime, that kind of thing. Not Facebook. I think that there's a place for you there. I think it could be really, really satisfying because it's like wherever you go, people tell you their life stories.
Mm-hmm.
They confess to you. And, so you have this huge drive to take care of everybody. And the people around you subconsciously see that. So I would really encourage you to keep rolling somewhere with that.
Okay.
I'll leave you with that.
Thanks.
Heather, what have you got that you pick up?
So I really see, I just keep seeing this wheel, like a hamster wheel, and this move is the chance to get off of that. I see you guys connecting more. I do see a suburban area, kind of country, but not too far away from a city. And I really see just more groundedness in your lives as a family and individually. And I too was going to ask if you worked with younger people, with kids, because I just really feel that spark that's really coming through strong is the working with the kids. And I see a lot of talking. So I'm glad he said counselor. I just feel, I see you kind of sprouting wings. You're stepping off of this hamster wheel, so to speak, and rounding and growing wings, and it feels really beautiful. There's definitely going to be some bumps along the way, but I really see things smoothing out and having a much more grounded experience as a family together.
Okay, thanks.
I've got a few things, and again, there are often times that we may sound as if we are parroting each other, but we're all picking up on very similar kinds of things. Your youngest, I believe, is going to really flourish, and you said it was Callie?
Callan.
Okay. But your youngest is really going to flourish when you move. It's all of them being able to unplug out of their current lives and, let's say, situations that they might be involved in. Okay. Which is going to be beneficial because it's almost like being able to say, here's life 2.0. They get to restart and kind of think about what they're doing. Your oldest is amendable and ready to begin.
Anthony. Yep.
Yeah. Anthony's amendable and
Thank you for saying that word, Mike.
What's that?
What you just said about her oldest. That's the only one I was really feeling a connection with was the oldest, and feels amazing.
Oh, it's like every one of them has a different reason or need to relocate and restart or reboot life. Anthony being the point where he's ready to experience the world, but because of the negativity of the things that were around, not experience the world quite where you are, and needing that new move kind of thing. The youngest is just going to flourish. You're going to find that 2 months there, and it's like almost like a whole new child. It'll be really odd, but it'll be funny. Your youngest, I hear the word chatterbox, but I cannot tell if it is because they are or because they are not.
He is. Well, he is when he's comfortable.
That's what I was going to say, because what you're going to find is that being a chatterbox all the time. And instead of such the esoteric things that he says, bringing it more into a plain English, you know?
Okay, but that makes total sense.
But being focused for a change, without anybody having to herd him into, you have to do this or you have to do that. It's, again, almost like a whole new kid. It'll be very well for everybody concerned.
Okay.
If you would, tell us what your other question is, or your next one.
Is there anything that my guides want me to know that I'm not paying attention to, or that I just need to know?
Heather, I'm going to start with you on this one.
So when we started to connect, I immediately got very hot in here, and these two gentlemen came. They looked at first they didn't look Native American, and the more I focused on them, they looked more Native American, and just very strong, bare-chested, the paint, the feather. One has a really big headdress. Anyways, doesn't matter what they look like, but I'm getting that support. Again, I keep getting the word grounded. So I feel like being more intentional about your grounding practices. And just know that they're right behind you, like with their hands behind you, fully supporting you. And again, I keep getting the word believe. Believe in yourself, believe in your ability to make the decisions necessary for your family, because these are really big decisions that you are contemplating, and you have a whole, I see your plate is just kind of overflowing, and there's pieces that are going to fall off, and just keep that confidence and know that you are about to completely grow wings, and really step in. And I want to kind of say back in, because I feel like you've been there so many times already. You're very, what's the word I want to say, evolved and connected. So, gosh, you really have a gift, definitely with the children as well. They connect easy to you, and you're very comforting to have around. And there's something about you that allows them to, their walls just kind of crumble down. And you have the ability to connect with children who other people have not been able to connect with. I think that's about it.
Okay.
Fantastic. Mr. Malcolm, sir.
Something on part of it's on a similar vein. The big word I get is trust. It's something for you that doesn't come quickly with people. You like to see them. You like to see people's actions more so than their words. But the critical thing here, like, you have a really good sense of, what people are about, but it's really about trusting in yourself and trusting in your abilities. Do you have like a regular spiritual practice? Do you pray or meditate at all?
I try to remember to meditate every day. It doesn't always happen, but I try to.
There's a joy guide that is wanting to work with you, and I think that the weight of some of your situation is getting you, and you need to lighten up a little bit and create some more joy in your life. And I think that this is going to be an important issue. And the other thing they're telling me is that you're really courageous, that, like when you don't run from things at all. and you're ready.
Yeah.
You're ready to take things on head on, like whatever it is, right? It's just because you'll turn over all the rocks, and you don't care what's underneath. You just want to know what the truth is. And you're really like straight about that. And the quickest way for somebody to switch you off is to lie to you because you spotted a mile away. So it's, I'm getting a name here for your joy guide, and it's Astrid. So, just allow yourself small moments of joy here and there. And I think things will really look a lot brighter for you. And I'll leave you with that.
Thanks.
There's an awful lot of information that is coming across for you. There's no doubt about that. This is what I enjoy because each one of us pick up different aspects of when you ask a question like that. It's not a focus question. It's like, is there something that I need to know kind of thing? And I'm going to ask you just a couple of small questions. Did you look at being an entrepreneur, working for yourself, not long ago, and it just did not pan out correctly? Is that true?
Yes. Yes, I work for myself now, and I mean, it's not what I thought, but I'm sticking with it just because, if that makes sense. But it's not, it brings me no joy. No joy.
No. And that's part of... Please forgive me if I sound harsh, because I, honest to God, don't mean to be.
No.
Come on.
When...
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
When you look at... If you look in the mirror and you ask that lady, where do I want to be in 6 months? And where do I want to be in 1 year? She does not have an answer for you. Does that make sense? You're working, and I heard somebody say hamster wheel earlier. You're working, and all you're doing is running on the hamster wheel to keep things moving from day to day, week to week, month to month. It's like, I've got kids, and I remember what they were like when they were younger, and all parents will sacrifice for their kids. But this time seems for you to have gone like way past that point, to where everybody else has a time slot and everybody else has the ability to butt into your life except you. And it drives you up the wall, and it doesn't make you happy. But at the same time, you've been doing it for so long that you have relegated yourself into, well, it'll be better next week. That's kind of like taking Tylenol. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It smooths it out for a few minutes. When you start looking at, and you ask yourself the question, where do I want to be? What is my destination in 6 months? And I don't mean in a physical fashion. Where are you going to be in 6 months' time? You personally, you physically, you emotionally, you as an income agent, all of these things. Start to focus on that. Where will I be? Where do I choose to be? But then ask the question, why? If you find yourself turning around and wanting to be in a particular venue, space, job, profession, anything, and the why brings across more answers that pertain to other people rather than to the lady in the mirror, that's going in the wrong direction. And I know that you know that. I'm just kind of reiterating what you know right now. The second part is when you start focusing on where do I want to be and why, it's really going to delineate what you personally truly want. And for the first time in a long time, it's going to put you at the top of the pile to say, who comes first in my life? Your kids will always be your children. There is no doubt about it. You'll always be mom. You will always be anything to anybody else. But it's the age-old saying, if you take so much water out of the well and the well is dry, now not only can you take care of other people, but you can't take care of yourself. that one has been hitting you kind of hard in the last 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks, having to take care of yourself. And it could be so much as to having bodily injury to where you've got to stop and take care of yourself. You know, you've been run down, you've been emotionally run over, those kinds of things. So it's when you start to look into the future, where do you want to be? Ask why. And then be honest with yourself. Like 100%. And let's be honest just for a second. If your answer goes, I want to be in a warmer climate because I need to raise my children and I want to have these experiences, that's fine. As long as you accept the answer that you get from yourself. Do you understand?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You know, as long as you are at peace with it, you can say, I can do this for 6 months. But then at the end of 6 months, go back and readdress why. Why are you doing what you want to do? It's huge in a very small kind of thing. That one little 3-word question will begin to change a lot of things in your life. Especially having the capability to tell other people, no, I can't do that. Or no, I'm not going to do that. That's a difficulty also right now.
Mm-hmm.
At any rate, I don't want to harp on that kind of a topic. It's just I need you, please, to refocus what you're doing, and again, the reasons why you're doing them. It will help you mentally weed out some things that you shouldn't be doing. It will help you emotionally come back to the person that you know you should be, and then you'll be happier. And when you're happy, everybody around you is happy. You know? It's one of those things. And for a home, if Mama Bear ain't happy, ain't nobody in the house going to be happy. Anytime, anywhere.
Right.
Okay.
True story.
If you would, tell me what your next question is.
My next question you kind of answered that without me asking it. I wanted to know what I should be working on. Whether it's, like I've been trying to figure out if I have a Claire and what it is, or if I should be working on myself, or if I should be working on things around me. So you kind of already answered that. Like I need to take care of myself as a whole.
Yeah, but
so that was my.
Did you say if you have a Claire or if you have something else?
Yep, like if I have like some kind of sense, like a clairvoyance or something like that. If I should be working on that, or if I should. What I should be working on.
Malcolm, you mentioned something even early on before we connected with Meredith, so I'm going to let you address that with her.
Do you get gut feelings, like you feel everything in the pit of your stomach?
Oh yeah.
That's a sign of clairsentience, which means you feel everything, and you're a deeply spiritual person, and you have a lot of gifts. But the thing to do is you really got to take time to meditate. And I don't know. I mean, 4 kids and a handicapped husband. I mean, it doesn't leave you a lot of space. But if you can put some priority on that, it'll bring you a lot of energy. It'll bring you the energy you're looking for, because I think you're sort of chronically on the edge of exhaustion all the time. And that'll really help up your energy. And this is, for work, really what I see you doing is the heavy stuff, like working with suicidal people, working with people with catastrophic diagnoses that they somehow have to cope with. And I think really that's where this all is going to come out. Because you just have no fear and you go with it and you really get them to put things in perspective. But you got to keep your own perspective, because I think Michael was talking about you're running for everybody else. So it's critical that you carve out some time. And, you have to have something that says, leave me alone. This is a very, very spiritual time for you. So, please try and take advantage of it. Okay. And a sense of freedom also, I think, has been elusive for you. So anything that can, make you feel free symbolically is also going to really lighten up your energy. But you're here to help people. You're here really to guide them. And, you will be morphing into that as time goes on. I mean, I really see that strongly for you. So you're in a training period right now. So just keep going. The things will get better. And I think Heather was talking about the hamster wheel, because, you have a sense of you're running, but you're not getting any farther ahead. So by focusing on your innate spirituality and your gifts and your caretaking mode, this will just charge you with energy like you've got no idea.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have a lot of trouble with aggressive people?
My husband is 100% disabled, PTSD, the brain injury, TBI, and he's been sharing his nightmares with me. Mm-hmm. So I've been doing different things to try to not share nightmares, and like the mirror under the bed, the quartz crystal under his side of the mattress, like sleeping on the sofa. So I get lots of, he sees very, very angry things.
Okay, so here's something you can do. It's to make the location, either hand you put your little finger in your belly button and you stretch your thumb up to where your ribs come together, and that makes the location, and then just drop your hand flat right there. That will cut off. Don't do it now, okay? Because I don't want you cutting me off. Because think of your solar plexus as a radar dish for everything you receive. So if you cover that up, I think you'll be quite astonished. It'll cut 90% of the incoming.
Okay.
Okay. So, and at a certain point, once you get a little practice at it, you can just say, okay, please close, and it will close. So this is a good part of where your energy is going. So try that and see how it works.
Okay.
So I'll leave you with that.
Thanks.
Heather, did you have anything that you wanted to add in with that?
I mean, gosh, what didn't he cover? I just keep hearing 15 minutes. Meditate for 15 minutes. And if you even just sit sometime, I have small children, and sometimes I will just lay in bed and for 15 minutes and tell myself, use affirmations or whatever if I don't really feel like meditating, or sometimes I just kind of do this like daydream thing where I just envision all these amazing things that feel really good. Definitely everything like Michael said, self-care, meditate. Don't overdo it and think you got to meditate for an hour a day. That's so unrealistic. And really unhelpful for a lot of us. 15 minutes, definitely dancing. I'm getting that you should dance. And it's actually one of the quickest ways to raise your vibrations. Turn on some music, dance around the house, whatever you got to do. Because I agree with Malcolm about the joy. And just bringing that laughter and joy back into your own heart. And as you do that, it spreads. It has that ripple effect on everyone around you. So definitely the joy, the laughter, and the movement. Take care of yourself. I think you are definitely very connected. That was one thing I got as soon as I connected with you, is that you are already connected. I mean, you're on point. You know things that you don't know how you knew them, but you knew that was going to happen, and then it happens. You have this ability to connect. I see you connecting with people that nobody else seems to be able to reach. You really have a skill for this, and I really see you developing this as time goes on. I think Malcolm said that. You will step more into your intuitive abilities as time goes on. Right now, focus on your self-care and just go with the flow, and everything else will flow. is what I keep getting. Everything else will flow. Concentrate on yourself. You are going to be amazed at where you are 6 months from now. Absolutely amazed at where you are. That's it.
Fantastic. Okay, everybody, for a moment, we're actually going to take a few-minute break, our interlude, 2 or 3 minutes, and we will be right back again, connecting with Meredith this evening. But we'll be back right after this. Coming back after our break, we were talking with Meredith for a minute about some of her kids. So I'm going to just, Malcolm, if you would, we're going to go around the table here and address what we're picking up with her children, if you don't mind. And Malcolm, I'm going to start with you.
Sure. With Anthony, he's a very caretaking person. Is he looking into sort of medical or counseling or anything in that direction?
He was looking at physical therapy, but now he's actually looking at landscaping and doing turf grass and caring for plants and lawns and things like that.
Okay. Well, he's really got a lot of care and compassion for people. And however he can work that into his life, I think would really help him. Adriana is probably about the most stubborn person I've looked at in some time, but she's for some reason on the shadow side of her gifts, and it'll come around. She's got believe it or not, she's actually incredibly flexible, and I don't know why she doesn't go with that, but anyway, she's got a divine connection. So I suspect that she's got naturally healing hands. Curtis, I'm assuming, I just got back during the break, and I'm assuming you were talking about Curtis at the time, about him not giving up anything. Mm-hmm. And he's very inwardly driven, and it takes a lot for him to open up and really share what's deep in the well. And but don't make any mistake. I mean, he is a very deep thinker and very inwardly driven. He's the guy that goes to the beat of his own drum. Yeah. And Kaylin is spiritually gifted. Is it Callan or Kaylin?
Callan.
Callan. Natural medium, clairvoyance, very, very, very creative person. Is really here to inspire people. And so I think Michael was talking about him talking an awful lot. I suspect that, he could be a motivational speaker, a preacher, somebody that gets people moving. And I think talking will be his middle name. But the shadow side of Callan is that he's got a lot of insecurity, and he really needs to learn to work with that and to feel okay about himself, because he's very hard on himself. Even at the age of 7, somehow he feels that he's not good enough, or he doesn't measure up somehow, and that's very difficult for him at the moment.
Okay.
And I'll leave it there. I'll just stick with the focus on the kids. I want to come back to you a little bit with your husband after.
Okay. Heather?
So, yeah, I mean, touched on. So the oldest one, absolutely. Just such a protector and shares a lot of your skills in that he can really connect with those that can be hard to connect to, has that real compassion, and tends to be I just see him as being very strong, generally speaking. Absolutely wonderful energy. On the break, I told her, I said, I just want him to give me a big giant hug. Like, he feels like that guy when you're having a bad day, and I just love the energy of that. And I didn't write their names down, so I feel bad. What's your daughter's name again?
Adriana.
Adriana. Okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh. She is just so feisty feeling, and oh my gosh, so beautiful. And I can see how, just that misunderstanding, like she feels misunderstood, and maybe you want to understand, but you frankly don't understand. But she doesn't quite have the capacity to help you understand either. I really do see things smoothing out. And I really, like I said before, I really see you guys connecting a lot more as a family and individually, and really coming into your own as individuals. How old is the next one? 11?
13.
Is that what you said? Oh, 13. Okay. 17. Okay. I just feel that he's very grounded and very deep. That's what I'm getting from him. Just very grounded and deep, and just kind of in his own head a lot. But really just really grounded. Like he would make a really good friend, you know, somebody that would really. You guys must just have an uncanny ability to connect with people, because I'm getting that too, that he has a very strong connection. That groundedness really centers him, and will actually draw people to him. And your youngest is just absolutely inspiring. When he said motivational speaker, I could see it. I could see on stage and just being absolutely so inspiring. And I got goosebumps all over. It feels really good. And, you know, you can't run away from your problems by moving. And this doesn't feel like that at all. This transition, the shift your family is going through. It feels so beautiful, so beautiful. The bumps in the road won't seem like mountains. They will just be bumps, and it's going to be a very beautiful thing for you guys.
Okay.
Fantastic. I'm going to keep it short because I know you got at least one more question, and then Malcolm wanted to address something else with you. Speaking about your kids, and again, I'm the guy who probably is, we're all blunt to a point. And none of this is bad. Anthony, your oldest, is more to the point of getting himself set on his way, the way that he chooses to be, and doesn't allow a lot of people to railroad him into or corner him or paint himself into a corner or do things that he doesn't want to do, which is awesome. I'm not worried about him. As he goes along through the next year and a half, definitely going to be making a mark in the world and doing it his way, which gets me, and doing well. I need to ask about your daughter. I need to ask a specific question. Has she gotten in trouble recently?
She, last year, she had, I don't know if you want to call it a mental break or a suicidal time, but she got in trouble at school and wrote a letter that she was going to kill herself. So she was hospitalized. So she was in trouble with that, but she hasn't been like in trouble with the law or anything like that. She was just in trouble with, I guess, her own mind.
It's good that she's not in trouble with the law. And what I got was trouble, but it was like in a very shadowed area, which made me ask, if she was in trouble. And I believe when we were talking earlier about you moving, she's going to be one of the ones that will benefit the most out of all of this, because she really does need to reboot her life. And she needs to find, much like you, she takes after you in so many things. People will often comment, if I'm not mistaken, that she looks like a junior you at times. Does that make sense? It's not just because she's your daughter. The mannerisms, everything, the nuances are all there. But she needs just to find for herself, what does she want to do 6 months, in a year. I wouldn't even put her to say, what are you going to do when you graduate? What would she like to do? Does she want to write books? Does she want to be a rocket scientist? Does she want to study earthworms? Does she want to look at whales and take pictures? Whatever it is that she wants to do, it's helping her find a little bit of forward momentum. Maybe a book, maybe a class, maybe something to help her out. You talk about your middle, Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
Curtis excels at mathematics, correct?
Yes.
If you could understand for a minute when people say, that it's difficult to read, and even Malcolm hit it right on the head. I was sitting and he said it. He's very inward focused. It is like looking at a younger person that has a huge IQ, and does not know how to interact or adapt to a lot of the world around him, which at times makes him seem apathetic about things. And truly he's not. He's bored. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So if you find that he enjoys mathematics, spatial relationships, working on computers, I mean, literally taking them apart and working on them, fixing them, doing code work on anything, again, try to encourage that because it helps him along the way. And for me, your youngest, I just want to sit down and play because it is amazing. I don't think that there is anybody that comes around that is having a bad day that would spend 5 minutes with your youngest and not walk away smiling. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just amazing. And as everybody has said, the capability that he'll have as he gets older. But it's just, for me personally, it's just sitting down and seeing where a conversation goes. Whether it's about mud pies, mathematics, books, it doesn't matter. Because some of the things that he will say are so philosophically sound that it's scary. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's almost like he should have been a Zen Buddha as soon as he was born. Okay, I'm going to, if you would, do you have any other question for any of us before we start to wrap things up?
Just if any of my loved ones are hanging around or close friends who I've lost over the years are hanging around.
Heather, I'm going to let you tackle that one first.
I had an older gentleman come, and to me, I mean, he looks like a farmer. But
like a what?
Like a farmer? I mean, like a
okay. Suspenders?
I don't know how else. Yeah, or overalls, like definitely something over the shoulder. Yeah, actually, they look more like suspenders. A little bit of a belly, but not like really large. I'm getting a P sound. I don't always get
Pop-up.
names.
It's pop-up.
Okay, I
That's
thought I
my
was hearing
pop-up.
Papa. It wasn't quite Papa. Okay. Just very straight and narrow, but a little goofy.
Yep.
Just a very,
Goofy,
very
the
loving.
Yep. Yeah. We had a thing with Goofy, the cartoon character.
Okay, Goofy, how cute. Okay, because he kind of like put his head to the side. Okay.
Yep.
That's cute. He's not really saying anything. He just wants you to know his presence. I mean, maybe they'll get something else, but I feel that he just is, oh my gosh, he's so proud of you. He is so proud of you. And the situation with your husband, oh, I kind of get emotional when I do this, but he is there seeing you through this. He is there clearing the path, so to speak. He's there to support you, but he's trying to make things easier on you. They kind of have ways, on the other side to help us out. So just remember that there's free will and to ask him, or
Okay.
accept his help. Accept his help. Yeah.
All right, Malcolm, if you would, sir.
I picked up on him a little bit too. And was he always working with his hands? Was he always doing something?
Yep, he was a lawyer, and he was always writing depositions and drawing and just always writing. Always writing.
I have other people here as well, because Heather went on with that very nicely. There's a grandmother that you were very close to. And was this somebody that she didn't say a lot, but when she said something, you'd better listen?
Yeah.
Does that sound about right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
she could be pretty blunt, but it was everybody respected her because although she was blunt, it was truth. And
Yep.
did somebody either in the family or close to the family die in a car accident?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, well, we'll let that one go then. I'm just going to do a short thing before we wind up about your husband. You know, like when in the wintertime when you shuffle your feet in socks on the carpet and then you touch somebody with your index finger, you get that little zap.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what I'd like you to do is imagine that static charge on a much higher level. And when your husband is agitated, just put your hand on him with that in mind, and that will really just calm things. It'll just ground him right down, and it'll help him be a lot more peaceful.
Okay.
So, does Adriana have the smarts to be a lawyer?
She does. She absolutely does. She gets amazing grades in school.
Okay. Because she is the mediator, she's always called into the middle of things, and she is a fabulous mediator. So, something in that direction could be a very powerful thing for her.
Okay.
So I leave you with that.
Malcolm, since I've got you right here at the top of the screen, is there anything that you would want to close with this evening that you'd want to tell her or about one of her children?
Where do I want to go here? They're all gifted in their own way, but the biggest thing you can have right now is patience, because they're all very strong individuals. They're all going their own way, and it will work out in the long run. Adriana will be okay. I think that's the one you worry about the most. I think she's on a much better track than she was, and I think things are okay. That's the main thing. And Callan, was he he's got this wisdom to him, and he just comes out with stuff like out of the blue, and it's really startling sometimes at his age, the stuff he comes out with. But he's here on a mission, and he's got things to do. So as he gets a little older, this kid is going to be on rails. Once he decides what he wants, that's it. He's going for it. He's like you in that way. You're very much the same way. Once you lock on something, that's it. So okay, I'm going to say God bless you. I'm going to leave you with that.
Thank you.
Heather, what might you have as we wrap up our show for this evening?
Okay, I will keep it short. I definitely feel that Adriana you said that your Papa did a lot of writing. I see that. When you said that about him, I could immediately connected it with her. All of your kids seem to have some very beautiful traits of your own. And it's going to be very amazing to continue to watch them grow. And I really want to say to drink some lemon water, flush your liver. Okay? A glass of warm lemon water in the morning helps to flush your liver. There's some and as far as both your daughter and your husband, I'm getting that maybe you guys could look into some flower essences. I don't know if you know what that is, but you can Google it. I'm getting that the essential oils might be a little too strong for your husband. They smell a lot, and maybe down the line, that could be something that you could add in to help heal. But definitely the flower essences, they don't have a smell, and you can just spray it on his pillow. And I think that spirit will use your intuition. You will be led to exactly what it is that you need. But I'm just supposed to tell you to use flower essences, and get it, girl. That's what I want to say.
All right. Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up with remember, ask yourself why you want to do the things that you want to do. Because if you're not in the answer of why in some fashion that is appealing, then you're going to be working and becoming more frustrated and more things like that. I keep coming back to that very same thing. And I don't know if you are a theological based person or not, but I would phrase this in this fashion. You were around in a spiritual format before you were born here and now. And when your body is done functioning, you're going to go back to being in that spiritual format. Okay? And some people say that we have a soul, that you're angelic, however you want to look at it. What I would remind you, you still have the capability to harness a lot of the energy that you used to use before you got here. It's still there now. And I would tell you, grab a book about The Secret or anything about manifestation and not only read it, but believe it, because it's a very true thing. And then that has been, I think that you have gone through some of that phase before, to where you would read it and you would work on it, and then life interrupted and you never got back to it. I would tell you it's time to go back to it now. Now is definitely the time. Fantastic. Meredith, I am so happy that you took the time to join us this evening, even though that we were running late with everything. That was my fault.
Oh, you're fine.
Just absolutely a joy.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. For everybody that is watching the show in the chat room, thank you for joining us this evening. For the people that are going to be listening on the podcast, we really appreciate it. And we will be back again next week with another episode of Terra Turas. But next week is a very special show. We're going to be doing a live seance online with Reverend Pat Beers. So anybody that catches things up, you might want to tune in next week. That'll be a very special show. If you can, check us out on Facebook at Terra Turas. If you want to catch up with us on our own website, it is www.terraturas.com. You can find our shows on podcasts, many of the major platforms. Just search for Terra Turas, and we're definitely going to be there. And then, if you need, we're on YouTube as well, at Terra Turas. For everybody that is tuned in, I appreciate it. We'll see you again next week, and I hope everybody has a great evening.